So what niche should you build your business in? Honestly, it's amazing how much this question has been around for a long time, but I would say it's changed a lot. The answer to the question has changed a lot over the last, I'd say, few years even. We've seen a lot of shifts in the market, in the online space, in terms of how businesses make decisions about what their niche is. If you look back, you know, 20 plus years ago, the big distinction on a niche was your classic marketing. It was your classic demographics. Women between the ages of 30 and 50, kids under the age of 18, people in XYZ income bracket, maybe race, maybe it's a location thing. That was mostly how people decided on what kind of niche they were going to be in for most of the history of marketing and advertising, and so generally business and brand. But we've seen a lot of changes happening with that. And I think it's still important to pick a niche, and it's still important to understand who you're speaking to. It is one of the fundamentals of marketing and of selling products to businesses, whether they're digital products, physical products, whatever it is, services, because as the old adage is, right, if you try to sell to everyone, you'll end up selling to no one. And the reason that's true is because people want to buy stuff that feels like it's for them. And the only way to make something feel like it's for them is to market it in a way that makes it feel like it's for them, which means that you have to have some broad understanding of who you're speaking to in order so that you can speak more to them, and you can use language that they use, and you can use images that make them feel seen and make them feel like they want to be a part of whatever you're doing. Buy your stuff, follow you on social, whatever it is, right? But I think that this niche concept gets people really stuck. And it's happened to me too. And I talk to people about it all the time, which is why I know people are still stuck on it. Even people who have been in the online space for years, even people that have agencies that are doing over six figures, struggle sometimes with who they're speaking to. Because what happens is, in the old way, and in the way that was, let's say, predominant between 2000 and 2020, was pick a niche, a very specific niche, and then just go all in on that specific thing, whether it's doctors, lawyers, dentists. Now, what happens to a lot of people is they end up picking something they don't want to pick, right? And I think that's why it's very important that you really explore who you want to do business with, because it's one of the most important decisions that you can make. Similarly, as I say with marriage, right? It's who you choose to marry is one of the most important decisions you make, because it affects, your basically your whole quality of life. However, unlike a marriage, you can change your niche. However, you can't get divorced, but you can start in one niche and then move to another. Now, there's three main niches that you should think about as it pertains to the work that you're doing. One, you can go niche problem. Two, you can go niche audience. Or three, you can go niche service. You can also do all three, but that'll really pigeonhole you. And if that's what you want to do, totally fine. But a lot of the people that I work with don't want to do that. They feel really, held by their niche. They feel really like, I don't want to make the wrong decision, or I'm bored of who I'm working with, or I'm not quite sure who I'm talking to. So you probably don't want to go into all three of them. You want to pick one. So to go over what they are, you can either pick niche problem. That's like what I work in a lot. I work in a niche problem. So a niche problem is anything that people experience and that they want fixed. So that could be, like, particularly for me, it's they don't have enough margins, right? It's like maybe they're making 20,000 in the business, but they're not keeping any of it. Or another niche problem that I solve is their digital advertising isn't bringing them in the revenue that they want to bring in, or the sales that they want to bring in, right? They might be running ads, and the problem is that the ads aren't doing well. Or they're posting content and they just they're not feeling their content. One of the big problems I've been working with people lately is, how do you feel better about what you're posting? Like, how do you build personal brand in a way that then allows you to have a hybrid brand, which is where you basically use your personal brand and your business brand together. That could be a whole other video. But basically, niche problem, right? Now, the second pillar you could take, or you could say they're not really levels, but the second angle is niche service. Now, niche service is where you have a very particular service that you're giving to people, and that's the niche. So for instance, I started focusing on Facebook ads. That was the first online business I did. That was niche service. I didn't really care who I was doing it for. Sometimes it was leads, sometimes it was for product businesses, sometimes it was for webinars, sometimes it was for, people who basically needed Facebook ads done, right? That's the niche service. And then lastly would be niche audience. Now, back to what I was saying earlier, most people think they need to pick a niche like a doctor or a lawyer, women between 30 and 50. All of that is fine and good, and you can still do that. But I would highly recommend that you take a deep dive into what you really want to be doing and who you really want to be speaking to and why. You might find yourself in a niche market. So, for instance, doctors, tradespeople, car dealerships or whatever. But maybe there's something deeper that you can add. And this is where like new niche marketing comes in, which is the psychographic angle. Who are these people? Because if you look at doctors and lawyers and those classic niches, there's hundreds of different kinds of people in that space. Like I realize that in my consulting and the way that the people I like to work on digital advertising with are the people who are growth minded. They want to make more money. They want more time freedom. They want to hang out more with their family. They want to travel more. That's like a niche psychographic, right? Within a niche market. That gets me excited because I actually like those people. And I've only learned that from working with hundreds of people. So when it comes to how you're thinking about it, if you're feeling like you can't pick a niche, it could just be because you're not thinking about who you actually like. Or you could actually straight up open your whole niche and just, again, go into niche service or go into niche problem. And those are things that I've done on many levels in different ways throughout the various like businesses that I have. I have a creative services agency where we produce videos and make brand guidelines and things like that. And then I have my coaching circles, the strategy lab. So you can find different ways to put these together based on what you want to sell. And I think that people, back to what I was saying about why they get caught up, is because A, they think they can't change it, or B, they just really don't like what they're doing. And so hopefully these 3 points would help you solve all of those things. I guess the last thing that I feel like is important to mention about this is you can have different products and different services for different parts of your niche. Kind of similar to what I was saying about the different things that I do. They're for different people at different times. Sometimes they're in a different problem. And sometimes they require a different service. But overall, they are the same market. They're people who get customers online. That's my main market. And whether or not they're solopreneurs and they're trying to do it super lean, and then I have something for that. And then maybe they're multi-million-dollar companies that have thousands of employees and they're just wanting to build their brand story and get more content out there, then I have something for that. Different price points, different access, different timelines, all of that stuff, right? So don't get so stuck. I've been really into this whole the niche is you concept. If you watch Dan Coe or any of those other people that talk about this, and it's because it's you, it's your interests, it's the things that you care about. For instance, when it comes to niche service, which is what I do at the agency, it's like I like helping people tell stories and make videos that tell stories to their audiences and make documentaries, because I made a few documentaries and I love making documentary. It's like that's what, because I like that, right? And then you find that perfect fit between problem, service, and market. You put all those together, that's where you're going to have your best offers. That's where you're going to have the stuff that you're like, I just love doing this. And then, yeah, it's going to take some time to build. It's not going to be overnight. But anytime you find yourself getting caught up in this question of niche, write it down all the time. Who are these people? Why do you help them? Why do you like them? What makes them different? Back to my whole thing about growth-driven entrepreneurs. I have sold people on stuff or work with them on things, and then it becomes very clear to me that they don't even care about making more money. Like I sent my offer to someone the other day, and they were like, honestly, this would be great, but like I don't really care about growing. Like I just don't really want to grow it. And I've told some people that, and they're like, doesn't everyone want to grow their business and like add 5 figures, 10, 10, 20, 30,000? It's like, apparently not, So I think that it's more important that you find the kind of person you want to work with in terms of all the things that I've talked about, the problem, the market, the services, and then build something off of that. Build something that kind of person wants, or build multiple things. But don't feel like you need to be trapped in a market in a very stagnant 2.0 one-dimensional market. It's time to go 3.0 with how you're communicating with people and who you're attracting, and add as many nuances as you can. And if there's one person like it, there's 100 people like it. All right, see you in another one. Peace.